do you care how many partners a woman has had?
Oh my God, yes.
You do, huh?
Oh my God.
You say you want a long-term relationship, but do you really? Have you put in the work to make sure that you have become the man or woman that your long-term partner is going to want? Watch this episode as we talk about what's going on right now. Where are men and women falling short in the dating field, and what can we do about it? Join in on this conversation. Let us know what you think.
In your experience, both men and women, like what traits do you think like the modern guy is missing and the modern woman is missing that you prefer right now? Like if what are the commonalities that you see there? So let me start with the girls. Janae, what do you find, the common kind of modern guy that you've dealt with is kind of missing that you would desire?
Most guys right now in new society, it's all about money. Money, 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 money. They don't care if they have to sacrifice their time at home with their wife, their kids. Everything is money. If they could pick up extra hours, they would. If they could open 54 more businesses and they would do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's wrong. I just think that guys need to learn how to balance their time. You can still have what you want and still please your mate at home. So that's one thing for me, because if you're spending all this time there, what happened to the intimacy at home? What happened to the romance? How are you going to have time for that? So then the person is just kind of stuck with whatever you give them that's left over. And then the guy feels, well, I can justify it because I'm providing, I'm going to work, I'm doing something positive, But at the end of the day, when people are together, you need something from one another. If you're going to be that kind of mate, then you need to be with someone who's okay with that, Maybe a housewife, she needs you to pay her bills, take care of her, do that kind of stuff. Maybe things like that aren't important to her. But I can't work all week, all day. You work all day, all week. And then for what? Just to say I have like a spouse? Are you crazy? Like there has to be some substance from that, So that's one thing that I would say: the intimacy and the romance and the quality time, the balance, the work-life balance.
Oh, I'm gonna second that. Jessica, are you gonna third? Are you agreeing? See, all of us on the line agree with that. And I want to say something, because modern day woman, I don't think is looking for like a millionaire. I think the modern day woman wants you to be able to hold your own. Of course, she don't want to have to support you, but she doesn't want, you don't have to be rich. And I think it's still a misconception that guys have, like, women just want money. They just want money. So I got to make sure I stack the paper. But women nowadays, we're making decent money now. So we don't really need you to, be killing yourself at work and you can't have anything to come home with. So all three of us on this line. So guys who are watching, this is huge. I know that, you're trying to kill it and make sure that you have what you need, but this is really killing the relationship. Like women are looking for different things now. So I need you to be aware of that you need to make that quality time for her in addition to working. Jessica, did you want to add anything to that?
I was going to say time too. Time is definitely important. And romance. Some men lack romance. Being romantic, not just
period. They could be off for the day and still lack it.
Something sweet. That's it. Most men like that.
So what would you define as romance? Like if you had to spell it out for them, what are the things that they aren't doing that you would classify as romantic?
So maybe like a picnic in the park. These are the romantic things I'm talking about don't have to be over the top. It could be that. It could be bringing something home when you get home, not food. Something that they thought of that when they bring it to you, you're like, oh, wow, this is sweet. This is romantic. This is the person that I want to be with, They're thoughtful.
Okay. So kind of paying attention to the things that, she enjoys, and then maybe just, springing it on her. So just being thoughtful, being mindful of what she likes, and then making the opportunity and taking the time to invest in her. Okay, good one. Any other ones that y'all had? So y'all said time. That was a big one. What other traits do you think guys are kind of missing now, the modern day guy that you guys are looking for?
Respect.
Ooh.
A lot of guys, they talk to like their coworker, like they lack respect talking to a spouse. Like, it's okay to get disagreements and stuff like that, but when you communicate, it still has to have some form of love when you talk to the person. You don't have to be nice and stuff like that, but you have to express yourself in a respectful way where you still get your point across. The person is still receptive to what you want to say. And then you guys can actually try to come up with some type of compromise, because now everyone's, you know, come to a listening state. But I think a lot of guys like that. I don't know if it's the music they're listening to or movies or maybe their upbringing. I really don't know. But, you know, like me as a woman, it's like, okay, I don't like when people talk to me like they're crazy. Like, that's like, we're both hardworking individuals. I don't expect it to be a sunny day every day, but when you do have a rainy day, you still need to be able to be respectful. You know, right now they think that if you're in the wrong, I could just tell you anything and that justifies it. It's okay, but it's not.
Ooh, Jessica, how you feel about that? Are you seconding that, or are you?
Well, I said we should be able to communicate whether you're upset or not. You can communicate what's going on with you so that it doesn't create that disrespect.
Right. Some people,
Well,
they
like
only have one form.
Like, you know, you could say that, you know, right now I don't want to talk about it, or right now I don't want to blah, blah, blah. You know, just explain what is going on so that I know what is going on, you know, and it doesn't end up being this big fight.
But then as women, we have to be receptive too, right? Because sometimes when they say they don't want to talk about it, we egging them on until they have to cuss us out. So that's another thing too.
Well, then you deserve it after that.
What'd you say?
You deserved it after that.
Right. Another thing I wanted to mention, conflict resolution, because that's part of what you guys were saying. I feel like too often, multiple things. One, I think the modern day man, their expectation of what they're looking for in a partner, I think is ridiculous. Like, I think a lot of times when I think a lot of times they can't deal with conflict. So in their mind, they're looking like to feel a certain way about the woman when I'm in her presence. And, you know, she's going to look like this. She's going to be this, this, and that. And like when you meet a woman and she doesn't check off all the boxes, or if she just makes one wrong thing, she says something that you felt was out of place, or she did something that didn't go along with what you were thinking, you're so quick to drop her. I feel like there's so many single guys and I'm like, why are you still single? They're like, oh, I met her. And I just feel like both sides are unrealistic a lot of times, but I think men are looking for this feeling when they meet a woman. And I don't think that shit is real. I think humans err, and humans are going to disappoint you. So get over it. Don't think that she's not going to say some shit out the way. Don't think she's not going to do something that's going to annoy you or offend you. We are humans. And this is something I think is so huge. Like, people can't deal with each other. Like, after 1, 2, 3 days, it's like, you said something I ain't like, you did something, and I'm done with you. And I think that is so absurd to me. So the modern man, women aren't perfect. You're not perfect. Please try to look and see, what is the base of this woman? At her very core, is she someone long-term? At her core. And if she is, try to ride with her, okay? Because people are dropping people too quick and expecting too much, in my opinion. Anything else, ladies, that you wanted to add?
Yes, I do.
Tell me, Janae, what else?
So based on what you were saying, you know, a lot of guys are like that too, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a girl and I'm like that too. I hate when you get me into that like uncomfortable feeling right there, like when you gotta like nag, but you're also right. That's unrealistic to think like the person's not gonna step on your toes sometimes. Like, they will. It's just if you process it or practice processing it in a better way, it won't seem like, oh, this is a stressful solution. You know, you got to come at it with a different perspective. Like, okay, this is bothering my mate. You know, what's something we could do about it? And I think like I have limited patience with it, because if I really, really have to tell you something, like by the time I had to tell you, like it's gone too far, because I don't really talk about a lot of stuff. You could do like almost anything. I'm just like, oh, okay. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, okay, fine. So I feel like I only address things that will actually break the relationship. You got to pick your battles. I don't say stuff about everything, but once in a while I will say something, because I feel like this right here, this will definitely break our relationship. So some things I think you do have to address, and it shouldn't be taken as, oh, the person is stressful, they're always in conflict. No, sometimes we don't realize till people start pulling our file how like backwards we really make decisions, you know? So you kind of decide at that point what kind of person you want to be. You want to find someone that accepts those imperfections about you, or do you want to limit some of those imperfections so that you have more choices?
So it seems like communication is a big thing in different things that we've mentioned. Like communication seems like a big thing. Jessica, did you want to add any before I get to the guys? Because Thaddeus over here, his leg twitching like, ooh.
Rudolph too. Rudy over there twitching. I see him taking notes, child.
Rudy.
He about to go in on a
They
sister.
can't wait.
Jessica, did you have any other ones to add?
No, I don't.
How do you feel? You know, we just kind of voiced as women some of the things we think the modern day guy is missing. How do you feel about what we're saying?
About what you're saying?
About what we
my response?
Yeah.
First of all, like you said, guys are just not in it for the long term anymore. Guys are just in it for the short term.
Rudy, go tell me, Rudy, what you think?
So first thing, the thing about money, reason why guys chase money, guys typically do the things that they do because of women. If you have a guy that is chasing money, he's chasing money because of high income guy gets the pick of the litter. You know, he can do pretty much anything. And that's what he wants. That's what he's been taught. And guess who taught him? Women. His experiences. He's seen it. He's gone to talk to women, and first thing she says is, "What can you bring to the table?" Remember what I said about the bring to the table thing? First thing that the person asks you when they say something about bringing to the table, they're talking about finances. If he's not financially sound, or what they deem to be financially sound, then that starts a problem in itself. Also, romance. I can honestly tell you, low income equals no romance. If I am not financially where I would like to be, it has nothing to do with what you think of me. It has everything to do with what I think of myself. If I'm not financially where I feel like I should be, I don't want to be romantic. I'm not going to do anything to not only necessarily make you feel good, it's not going to make me feel good because I still feel inadequate. That's an issue that I'm still dealing with within myself, of a level of inadequacy.
Right
I went
now,
to this conference.
I'm gonna write down.
During the conference, they brought up a good comment. And the comment that they made was, there were so many men missing out of the workforce. So the question was why? What they said was that the problem is that men are having trouble with finding family sustaining careers. Because they're having trouble with finding careers that they feel adequate in, they would rather not be in the household at all. So again, here you go with the romance side of it. If I am not financially sound within myself, I'm definitely not going to project any inadequacies to anybody else. So let's just say you like champagne, right? And you want to go on a picnic. And I know you like champagne. I want to take you on a picnic, but all I can afford is Andre. You know, so I don't want to give you a bottle of Andre and you look at me like, oh, this is nice. That's what women say when they want to let you down easy, but it hurts the man's pride. Oh, this was nice. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what nice means. It means it's not good enough. That's what I heard, right? Women making more money than men. I have had this conversation with several men that are in good positions in their lives, and there are a lot of men who have a big problem with that. I heard you say that if you guys are making money, I mean, if you're making the money, then he doesn't need to necessarily work himself half to death. Well, there are a lot of men who will never be with a woman who makes more money than them. There is an issue with that. It's a control issue. So because of that, it causes problems in a relationship as well.
I agree with that.
When you talk about being able to communicate, a part of communication is the person that you're talking to has to have a comforting ear and a comforting voice. The last thing I want to do is come home after I've been working hard all day, dealing with a whole bunch of stuff, to come home to ridicule. If I've told you what's going on with my job or going on in my life, because even though we're together, I still have a life too. And in talking to you, I just feel like I'm being interrogated the entire time. That causes a problem, and I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to explain anything to you because I feel like talking to you is almost like talking to my supervisor. You guys mentioned conflict. The way that a man deals with conflict with another man is different than he deals with conflict with a woman. The problem is women project so much masculine essence nowadays that when a man has conflict in his home with a woman, he feels like he has to protect himself. He feels like it's a battle with another man because the energy that she's giving off is masculine. It is not feminine. In more cases than not, it is definitely a masculine energy. And you know why? You know how you can tell? Most women today have valuable careers. They have really good careers. But guess who they're dealing with on a daily basis? They're dealing with men in upper management on their level as well. So with that being said, they have to put on this hard exterior, but they're having a problem of turning it off when they come home. Also, the whole thing about people walking away from relationships. I do agree, like what Thaddeus said, most of these guys today are more interested in the right now as opposed to anything going forward. And I'm gonna be honest with you, and at this stage as an adult, you guys have to know the difference. I mean, in all seriousness, if you don't, you're gonna struggle with that for the rest of your life. You gotta figure that out. You gotta figure that out now. You gotta listen to the key signs, because I'm telling you, they're the same. That it really doesn't change. But when people walk away from scenarios, just at the drop of a dime, besides the fact of this was just a momentary encounter, that's because a lot of people still don't know how to deal with their feelings. People talk about they've grown and they're developing themselves, but they still really don't know how to deal with feelings. Walking away from a scenario and not being able to talk about it is a sign that you are still childish when it comes to your feelings. And if you can't, you got to work on how to deal with those. You got to be able to talk to people, because when you're at work, you don't just walk away. But when it comes to a relationship, you just walk away because that's what the child in you has told you that you do.
Ooh, Rudy. Oh, Lord. Okay. Rudy said a lot, dropped a lot of good thoughts. Now, I saw the two of you raise your hand. So Janae and Jessica, go Janae first.
I think he was very informative. I really liked his feedback. I could definitely also learn from that as a person. The first four things he said, though, although he's right, I think that they're avoidable. The whole financial thing. If you know you're not financially stable, you have no business trying to date somebody's daughter. Like, you need to get your life together, and then you could go ahead and date somebody's daughter. Because, like, if you had a kid or your sibling or mom, like, you wouldn't want someone who's unstable to come date them. So if you know you're not ready, why are you trying to date people? You know, that way you can avoid flat out having that financial struggle of not having to be able to romance her. Also, it depends on the kind of person you talk to. I've talked to people where I made more money than them, but they understand what my romance and love language is. For example, when I come home from work, it's okay that I made more money than you and you can't give me a brand new car this week when I get home. But if you could, like, rub my feet and let me talk to you about what a bad day I had at court, like, that's more, those untangible, those things you cannot purchase is what's more important than the things you can buy. Now, of course, gifts and stuff are always nice, but if you are in like a tight situation, you kind of have to work with what you have. So that was kind of the only thing I wanted to address. A lot of the things he said in the beginning are avoidable. Like, you could get your stuff together and then come at someone, but it's not fair for you to put yourself in a relationship with someone and then drag them through that. And then it's like, oh, you have to deal with that, you know, because that's all I kind of have to offer right now. Like, that's not fair, you know? So it's kind of selfish a little bit too. Either you go back, check yourself and then come, or you have to come up with something right now where both parties can win.
Okay. Let's go on the other side. We talked about what we feel like the modern day guy is kind of missing. Room for improvement. How about you guys? What do you think is kind of missing from the modern day women that you deal with?
Yeah, I think it's a lot, man. I really do. And I think on the last show, I kind of commented that before. There's a major disconnect between men and women. It's almost like double dutch, but everybody's standing there scared to jump in because they really don't know what to do once they get in. Instead of people listening to advice and seeing where it applies, because everything doesn't apply to everybody, people can take bits and pieces from things. Instead of them doing that, you know what they hear? An attack on who they are, or an attack on the person that taught them these things. What I would like to see overall is communication. I mean, over everything. I think communication is really big. If you don't like something, say it. And there's a way to do things. I don't have to get into the hows and all of that because you do it every day when you're at work. When you talk to your coworkers, just as nice. You don't like something that the coworker said, you figure out how to say it. If your supervisor say something to you, you figure out how to say it, because there's a potential for some sort of consequence if you disrespect them.
That is, what did you have to say? So Rudy said communication is an issue with a lot of some women right now. What do you think the modern day kind of woman is?
What do you want? You want me to start at the bottom?
Only a few things, Library, a few things.
All right, so I'll
the
just
things that are most prevalent that you think really
I'll keep it brief as I always do, right? So I'll just name 4 things I think that are the most problematic.
Okay.
The first being humility.
Like in what sense?
Like I said, women have an over-inflated self-value these days. Women believe that you hear stuff like, black women is God, women are queens, women like so. And I get it, it's supposed to instill confidence in you, and I get the reasoning behind of it. But what he has done, like I said, it has made your everyday Honda Civic and Toyota believe that they could demand the same price as a Ferrari.
I understand what you're saying, Thaddeus, but I
listen, I'm answering. I'm answering.
Okay, so go and then we'll talk.
So therefore, they are not, like I said, they're not humble, and they have effectively priced themselves outside of the market.
Okay.
Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, which goes along that same thing, is the whole morality thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So guys are very, very logical, believe me. And even with this dating thing, we are still logical. We don't objectify women, I say, in a sexual way all the time, but it's more like you guys are a thing to us at times. And I'm gonna explain. When a guy evaluates a car, he wants to know how many owners has it had, how many miles it got on it, right? If it's been in any accidents, if there's any little trailers connected to it that he can't
get your car facts,
right?
Get your coochie facts.
So, exactly. So, and those things, when he evaluates it, it gives it a certain value to him, and it makes him pay a certain price for it, right? And that's how we evaluate women too. True or not, Rudy? You find out a woman, if she had too many owners, if she's been rented out too many times, you look at the odometer and it says 1 million miles on it. What you gonna do? You're not trying to pay the same price as the latest model. One owner took care of it. He wasn't doing donuts on I-95. With it. You know what I'm saying? It's been treated nice, been garage kept. Yeah. The person actually bought it, and maybe they brought it back because they didn't like it, but they actually bought it. So, it gives it some type of intrinsic value. The problem is, like I said, the first thing, the humility, they price themselves out. Second is morality. Is like they're just all over the place. They're for everyone. And if you're for everyone, it's hard for me to put value and make, you don't feel special to me. It's like anybody could have you. And it's like you give yourself, and then women do this as they get older, right? So as they get older, they put their value more and more up, because it's like, no, I'm more experienced. No, that was when I was young and dumb. But it's like, so you sold yourself to the dude who's in jail, right? For $5. And then now I got to pay $500,000 for you. Why? You have more miles, more owners, like no, your rebuilt title.
That was a rebuilt.
And then you want, so those are the 2 main things that are missing. And then the third thing would be a lack of femininity. Like that's a huge problem. Like women don't know how to be that anymore. Like you don't see them dressing up, wearing heels, skirts or dresses, cute earrings, just very, very soft. Like, be the exact opposite of what I am. I'm, rah, rah, rah. Like, you can't be rah, rah, rah too. Like, that's not feminine energy. It's supposed to be a balance. So if you're giving off that type of vibe, if you don't dress feminine, if you don't dress very womanly, and you give off that masculine vibe, and then you say that you can't find a man, why would a man be attracted? I'm not gay. Like, why would I be attracted to masculine energy if that's what you're giving off? And that's what you find. And then, there's like, why won't guys approach me? Go look in the mirror. 9 times out of 10, go look in the mirror. You tell me what you see. You tell me if a guy wants to approach that. If the answer is not hell yeah, like, it's like, how do you dress when you go out? Like, you have girls who dress and they had that. There's a big thing on social media now with the bonnets, and women are fighting for the right to go out in public with bonnets on their hair. And then you're gonna turn around and be like, why are men not approaching women? Like, when I go to Publix, like, you see women who look like they just rolled out of bed.
Yeah, everybody with the workout outfits,
Yeah.
like with the tights, the black tights
Exactly.
and the
So,
t-shirt.
Oh,
when I look at you,
that?
there's a lack of femininity right now in the market. So that's why those are my top 3. Those are my top 3.
Jessica, you saying what's wrong with that?
I said, what's wrong with going to Publix with your headscarf on?
I mean, nothing is wrong with it.
If you want a man.
Exactly.
Jessica,
Man, you're not looking for the man right then and there.
we are.
Yeah, but you never know when that's going to happen. You can't dictate when that's going to happen. And then the problem is that when you actually really dress up and you dress up, then your guard is up now. So you go, you're like, I know guys are going to talk to me. You put your titties all out, mash them together. They're all popping out by your neck. You know what I'm saying? You go out with your girl, you know that guy's going to try to, approach you, but you know that it's always going to be for the wrong reason because of how you dress. No, like, you should always leave the house looking presentable, looking like a woman, looking like, feminine. As a matter of fact, some of those clothes, just throw them away. Those manly clothes, those manly attitudes, just throw them away. That's just like, that's not you. You need to be more feminine.
I'm just talking about the bonnet. That's it.
The bonnets, the leggings, kill them. The Ugg boots, kill them. What else? Those slides that y'all wear, kill those.
I just some Ugg boots.
Yeah. So the basketball shorts, go ahead and kill those. Stop wearing so many.
I have a question about this.
Go ahead.
So I want to know what makes that the guys' view now? Is it like their upbringing that they think girls have to be so feminine? Is it just like how they were taught, what they're used to?
Biology. We are attracted to female. Well, most of us at least. We are attracted to, and even gay guys. If you notice, gay guys, the strong gay guys, they're attracted to other gay guys that exude like feminine energy. Like, I've met gay guys that had more feminine energy than most women, and those are the type of guys that would attract other gay guys. Like,
And that's the thing.
there's always a balance. Like, even when you see couples, let's say lesbian couples, there's always one that's masculine and one that's feminine. Like, that's the balance that you need to have. If you masculine and I'm masculine, that's not gonna work. And one more thing before you go on. A lot of times when a lot of masculine women that I notice, like very aggressive women, they always end up with this pion guy. Like, this guy that's really soft and demure and, very, very, he doesn't have a spine, very feminine guy. That's actually, by the way, like, feminine qualities of, he's very agreeable, very docile, not loud, he won't argue. Yeah.
But are they happy?
Exactly.
We don't care.
They won't be happy, but the thing is, they can't deal with a guy who's masculine, because it's like my dad always says, 2 male crabs can't live in the same hole, because you just always gonna be fighting. So
yes, and I think guys always wanted that feminine energy. If you look at even movies from before and posters and stuff from before, ladies were always looking really feminine. But I think as we spoke about feminism and all that, and how we're different, doing different now. But I think, and that's the thing, is that we're thinking, but why should it matter what we wear? Like, I'm a good person, I have all these great qualities, but men are different from us, right? They first see visually. They can't just look at you and see that you're an awesome person. Like, what draws them in at first is your vibe, your energy, how you look, you know what I mean? So I know that we're thinking, I don't need to do all this for a guy, but again, we're single. So let's try something different, girls, okay? Okay.
I'm gonna try. No, I do agree with what what's his name? Thaddeus. I agree with what Thaddeus said. I think it's true because like I've had a lot of relationships that have ended. And that is one of the main thing I want to say almost everyone said, you know, like they can't be tough and I'm also tough. So I am trying to learn like how to calm down a little bit because I'm a little the other thing that they did say is like, oh, Janae, why don't you do your hair sometimes? Like, why? I'm pretty. Like, why I gotta comb my hair for? I can put slippers on, leave. Why I gotta care for? You know, but I didn't realize there's more to that. Like, they wanna feel attracted to you. They want that feminism. And then I think about it, I'm like, would I talk to a guy who had feminine qualities? Probably not at all. So that's what you're saying is definitely true. So the women who are watching who just think he's being an a-hole, usually he is, but he's right though.
Usually.
Right. He's right.
Usually, yes.
Okay. Oh, well, I wanted to touch on the other points you said too. So about dressing, what was the other three?
One was about like humility, morality, and femininity.
Okay, morality. Let's talk about that one. Rudy, do you agree? Because the society now is people having sex like pretty much on the first date now, right? So my question to you, Rudy, is that true? Like, do you care how many partners a woman has had?
Oh my God, yes.
You do, huh?
Oh my God.
That's why women lie.
Rudy, to answer it, Rudy, do you care how much partner she has if you're just a rental? So I just kind of want to, because some guys are going to say no. They're going to say, no, I don't care. Do you care how much partners a girl have if she's just a rental?
If it's a if it's a one-time thing, then no, not really. No,
it's not important, right? I just want to make that very clear. Now, if it's a lease, if you're going to lease it for like 6 months, do you care?
It's going to come into play a little bit.
Okay, but
because if you're leasing it, I mean, if it's going to be a situation where if we're meeting each other more than that one encounter, that means that we're probably going to go somewhere out in public. And if we're going somewhere out in public, the last thing I want is to feel like you said, you with everybody.
Yeah. So it matters a little bit. Last question. Now, if you're trying to marry this girl, how important is her past?
Extremely important.
Okay.
You know, I had a conversation with somebody, and I told him, I said, you know, there's some things about me that I'm still going to be childish about, and to me, that's one of those things. The partner thing is something that I will always have a problem with, because to me, it just says, now, women are going to say, well, that's a double-sided thing because men can do whatever and, you know, it's not a big thing, and women do something and everybody got scrutiny. My answer to that is deal with it. I mean, that's just the way that it is. And if you don't care, then fine, don't care. But I want you to remember that for lack of a better way to explain it, your worth in that relationship is based off of your interactions with other men or other people in general. If somebody done donuts on the beltway with you, then it's going to affect how a guy deals with you, how they think about you, because nobody wants to play the fool. The last thing I want to do is be another guy on the hit list, and the guys that ran a train on you and everything, and you want me to be the dummy and be your boyfriend and all this kind of craziness, because that's just how we look at it. We just look at it like, so you let these other guys just roadhouse you, and you want me to come and take you to the dinner and hold your hand and do all this other stuff just to spend a little bit of time with you. I don't like that. That's something seems a little strange about that.
Okay, so seeing how both guys kind of said that, if you're a young girl and you haven't, you know, been out there like that, don't do it, listening to these guys. However, seeing that a lot of people who are on here already in their 20s, 30s, 40s, that's our audience, as our culture, a lot of these people, their number is high already. So my question is,
bring down your
so
value.
my question is,
your high mileage, bring down your value.
So my question is, if you meet a girl who really has been awakened, right? You know, at first in her 20s, she was wilding out and stuff, but now she come to see like, okay, I need to chill out and are you guys going to respect if she really is like a renewed mind, or does she have to keep lying to y'all and dividing her number by 12?
Well,
Right, because that's unrealistic.
Huh?
Right, that's
unrealistic.
really unrealistic.
So here's my thing. First of all, the only reason why I know your number is because you must have been a topic of conversation somewhere in some circles. So that says a lot about how you do your business. That's number one. I would never know you have a past unless you run in the same circles, or you dealing with multiple guys that all know each other, or if it comes across my table, or if your behavior dictates me to question certain things. It's not like, because if I ask you, you're going to lie anyway. So the only way I'm gonna know is if it's come out. And just for the record, I would never ask a woman that, because I would never expect her to tell me anything like that. And
I'll say it after.
And I wouldn't expect her to ask me a question like that. But I think your behavior really starts the wheels of, so what have you been doing? Like, I noticed you've been messing with so what happened to your last relationship? Well, it just didn't work out. Okay, so what was the relationship before that? Well, I was talking to this guy a month before that, and that didn't work out. So I met this other guy, and he's such and such. And in my mind, I'm saying to myself, I'm putting the timeline together, and I'm saying, all right, you done told me less than a year, and you done told me about 10 different guys. So in a roundabout way, I'm going to try to get to the bottom of, did you sleep with all of them? And depending on what your answer is, I'm going to just draw a conclusion. It's just like doing an audit. I don't need to see all the paperwork to know how many errors you have. All I need to do is do a deduction just based off of what you've told me. It just depends.
It's like your credit score. Do they fall off after 7 years? Let's say the last 7 years, you've been doing really good. And you ain't heard about 1-2 guys in the last 7 years. Is she okay?
I can't do it. I just can't. I can't do it. And I'm telling you. And the reason why I say that is because I know some stories, and I know some people that have been involved in some situations.
Jessica, you have something to say?
I was gonna say, Wasi and Rudy are talking about these women with these high counts, but y'all still sleeping with them.
Yeah,
sleeping with.
So why not go find somebody else to be with? Because y'all point of talking to these women in the first place is to date them, to marry them. No,
that's why I tell you there's 3 types of ownership. One is rental.
Okay, but that's not what you guys were talking about when you said the account matters.
Well, that's what we will say. The account only matters if you want to.
If you're exactly.
So that's the only time that you would ask. And if you're asking, that means that you have went into that situation with that on your mind.
Very good discussion, y'all. But there's hope, right? Because hopefully by us saying all of this, we could make some lifestyle changes. So let's leave people with some hope, okay? Come on now. Let me get a little hope going.
Some hope.
Although we have, these differences in the way we think and some challenges, what can we say about both men and women kind of preparing themselves and being open to relationships nowadays based on our conversations? Anybody have some light they want to leave?
So I think we focus too much on men and women and not who we are with in that instance, like who we're with. Like say me and Jenny are dating. We're worrying about men and women. We need to be worried about me and you.
Right, what works for us.
Yeah, what works for me and you. Because we can all have opinions, but none of our opinions matter outside of me and you.
Right, I think Rudy was saying that earlier too. Most people talk about that whole him and her, but this teamwork right now, let's focus on that, because our team could be different than somebody else's team. So that would be a topic for another day.
I love that thought. Go ahead, Rudy.
I think that there's hope. But in order for this to actually work, or for relationships to start to develop in a different direction, people are going to have to be open to suggestion. Something, especially as you get older, you get closed off to other alternatives, other possibilities. One of the things that I've come across in reading is a man said, the the first step in trying to learn is to know that you don't know anything. Most of the time, we are assuming a lot of stuff. We're hoping, just based off of our experiences, that these things are the truth and this is how things work. We're finding out stuff about ourselves every day. Every year you learn something new about yourself, or at least you should be. And then it almost challenges who you thought you were. And you reinvent yourself to be this different person. But see, people hate it when you can kind of tell them like, hey, maybe you should walk this way instead of that way. And again, they just take it as a challenge as opposed to someone trying to help them out. My father tells me that I talk like I'm the perfect man and I have all the answers. That's not it at all. I'm still struggling myself, and I have no problem in telling people that. But that doesn't mean that my information is not good.
No, and I agree with that. I second that. I second that. As we say all this stuff on the show and we're saying our opinions and things, listen to it. It's not a personal attack. Like Rudy was saying earlier, it's not us saying that you're not a good person, that you're not worthy of love, that you're not shit. That's not what we're trying to say. We're just trying to open your mind so you can see from both perspectives and just, think on it and say if there's something that you can gather from this and make some changes. So don't take it personal. Just try to get the information and use what is of value to you in these conversations. Again, thank you all for being on the show today. Rudy, thank you. Always bringing the knowledge. Jessica, Renee.
Woo, woo.
Yes, of course, for always being here every week. Watching another episode of My Comfy Couch. Toodles.